Today we've got a Buzzfeed article that seems to believe that racial discrimination, that thing that's been illegal for about 50 years now, is costing the UK economy about 24 billion a year. Right.
Ah, Buzzfeed, you never cease to enrage me.
Ensuring that black and minority ethnic, BME, people progress in their careers at the same rate as their white counterparts could boost the British economy by £24 billion a year, according to a government review into racial discrimination in the workplace.
Let me just stop you there, Fiona. If you're one of these BME people, though to be perfectly frank, having an acronym for this reeks of Tumblr, and you're not being paid as much as a white counterpart, that is illegal. It is against the law in the UK to discriminate against anyone on a corporate level.
Now, if people are being held back by their skin colour, which BuzzFeed so far have shown no evidence to suggest, I fail to see how that would impact the economy. I mean, surely they're not suggesting that the economy would somehow benefit from having particular races have more money.
The review, published on Tuesday, also found that GDP could increase by 1.3% a year if people from BME backgrounds were not being held back in the workplace because of the colour of their skin.
Nope. Illegal.
Is there any evidence of this happening? And again, why would the colour of someone's skin impact the GDP? It makes no sense.
Employment rates for BME people are 12% lower than for white people, and just 6% reach top-level management, the review found. People from BME backgrounds are also more likely to be employed in lower-paid and lower-skilled jobs despite having a degree.
Has it ever occurred to you numbskulls that the people surveyed were not as good at their jobs as their white counterparts? Or do you only see in black and white?
If companies aren't releasing their workforce breakdowns, as you stated, how do you know this? And have you ever considered variables other than racism, such as personal choice, qualifications, or competence? It's also worth noting that they don't give the percentage of jobs that are top management level. From what they say, it could be the case that only 1% of jobs are top management level, and BME people are doing really well. Or it could be that 20% of jobs are top management level, and BME people are actually doing really badly. But we don't know because they don't tell us.
Conservative peer Baroness McGregor Smith, who led the review, gave a total of 26 recommendations, which included calling on companies with more than 50 employees to draw up 5-year aspirational diversity targets, nominate a board member to deliver on these targets, and publish a breakdown of their workforce by race and pay band. McGregor Smith told BuzzFeed News she was surprised at just how few companies in the UK hold information about the racial makeup of their workforce and how it relates to pay discrepancies.
Why is that a surprise? If I ran a company, I certainly wouldn't employ people based on their race. It's discriminatory. Oh, I forgot. Whites are subhuman now. Never mind then.
Indeed, employing people purely to meet an aspirational diversity target, as opposed to, because of their qualifications and merits, is a whole lot of discrimination. Guess McGregor Smith wants everyone to follow the BBC's shitty example of positive discrimination. It all just ends with the majority losing out on jobs and the companies employing suboptimal employees to fill quotas.
We don't have enough data from our largest companies on race and pay band, and it's something that needs to change, she said. If companies do not voluntarily disclose this information, she added, then the government should legislate to make sure they do.
That sounds an awful lot like it's not voluntary, doesn't it?
Oh, sure. Forcing companies to have racial diversity quotas can only improve the quality of output. Assuming that people ought to be employed for their capabilities was clearly racist of me.
McGregor Smith, chief executive of outsourcing firm Mitty Group, is the only female Asian chief executive of a FTSE 250 company, also told BuzzFeed News that she was surprised by the amount of unconscious bias exists in the workplace.
Whoa, now hold up a second. The only female Asian chief executive? I, I just can't believe you people. You're banding about these buzzwords like you deserve extra credit. Not only are you a chief executive, you're Asian and have a vagina. That means you're not a white guy. Have a fucking cookie, you utter moron. I hope you choke on it.
Also, what unconscious bias? Everyone is shit scared that they'll be labelled a racist if they don't employ or promote these people. She may be the only female Asian chief executive, but the fact that they had to specify both means there's likely other female chief execs, as well as other Asian chief execs, just not other female Asian chief execs.
Maybe because I'm Asian I've tried to ignore it, she said. In the sense of my own career, I haven't really focused on it too much. But now I'm having to face the fact that there is still so much unconscious bias in the workplace against so many individuals just because they look different, and I think that we need to change that.
So are you saying that promoting you to chief exec was the bias against you, or that paying you equal wages was the bias against you? Because we know if they didn't pay you equal wages, you'd have said so, and it would also be fucking illegal.
The bias is wholly conscious, and it's a bias against white people.
The review was launched by then Prime Minister David Cameron as part of his plan to end discrimination and increase social mobility by 2020.
Well, Cameron was fucking hoping then, wasn't he? Institutionalised discrimination, of all forms, has been eradicated. With the exception of positive discrimination of minorities, which is by effect discrimination against the majority. He wouldn't be able to end that discrimination though, because then he'd be discriminating against the minorities by actually making them equal. But I have a feeling that's not the discrimination he wanted to end. That being said, discrimination against minority groups will never actually end because of individuals discriminating, which is something wholly outside the government's control.
With Cameron's successor, Theresa May, increasingly concerned about the country's economic stability after it leaves the European Union, McGregor Smith said she was convinced that the government will not let the issue of diversity in the workplace end up on the back burner.
Oh good, so we can expect the entire homeless population to be white by then?
I have absolute faith that the UK government is absolutely committed to ending discrimination in the workplace, she said. We all need to work with them to do that.
No, you need to stop working because you're trying to impose quotas that purposefully harm the quality of the workforce, which then causes a whole domino effect of damaging the business, the economy, then the consumer and the workers. Quotas don't work, they employ by skin colour, not ability. Stop it!
At the end of the day, she said, if the economy is boosted because businesses are doing better by having a more diverse workforce, then actually there will be more job opportunities, more job creation, and more development of staff, more investment, and more money for public services. That's what I'm really keen to show.
Bollocks. Absolute fucking bollocks. You just want to be one of the smarmy faces of the social justice crowd by helping to eliminate career paths for white people and force ethnic groups into positions they might not want, all for the sake of your sodding statistics. A diverse workforce will do nothing to help a company, but you know what would? Allowing business owners to employ people based on their fucking skill set. You absolute disgrace of a woman.
She also said she wants to make sure that the findings from the report and her recommendations make a difference so similar reviews do not have to be repeated.
Reviews like this would not have to happen in the first place if people recognise that it is illegal to discriminate against people based on race or any other identifying feature in employment, education, or in public. Willful ignorance of this fact leads to one thing: you dumb cunts looking like dumb cunts.
I hope that everyone understands that I never want to write another report again, she said. As far as I'm concerned, we've done this report. How many more reports can we write about race? I think there is no more time for reports, it's time for action.
Go ruin some other country, you bint. No one wants your social justice agenda here.
McGregor's view was echoed by David Isaac, chairman of the Equality and Human Rights Commission, who called on the government to produce a comprehensive race strategy. The color of your skin or your race should never hold anyone back at work, he said.
Then why are you holding back white people because of the colour of their skin? Everyone should be employed because they have an appropriate or desirable skill set. It's really fucking simple. Scrap the diversity quotas because they are inherently racist and hire people who are good at the fucking job. In fact, here, let me break it down for you in the simplest of terms. Say you're stuck in a burning building. You're trapped beneath a heavy beam and can't lift it to get out. The fire crew shows up outside and a team of people are sent in as rescuers. But because of your stupid fucking diversity quotas, they're scrawny black women. You would die in that fire. Diversity quotas are dangerous. If you start overlooking the capabilities of a candidate in favour of their race, gender, or sexuality, you are employing people less suited to the task. And in the case of the emergency services, that is a fatal decision that will undoubtedly cost lives. Remember that.
We welcome the plans set out by Baroness McGregor Smith to drive change, but we are still of the view that the government must produce a comprehensive race strategy to tackle all the interrelated issues that hold people back. Without such an approach, we are worried that divisions will continue to grow.
What divisions, you fuck up? There are laws protecting people from being paid differently based on their identity. Laws that are so important that they override any clauses in your contract if you even suspect that you are being treated differently. Any discrimination is happening on an individual basis, and if it is happening, then each individual affected has the right to take the company to court. If it is found to be happening, the company or individual responsible will have to pay a massive settlement, usually dozens of times larger than anything they could hope to gain by pulling this shit. Anyone who actually does discriminate in the workforce is an idiot, as they're gambling a hell of a lot more than they could gain.
On that note, I think we've established our case pretty clearly. Workplace discrimination is super illegal, employment should be based upon appropriate capabilities, and enforcing diversity quotas is an extremely dangerous move. Oh, and in case having Buzzfeed News at the top of the page wasn't evidence enough, we've left links to Race Relation and Equality Acts in the description, just to prove that this argument is near fiction. Hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to tune in next time.